Flashpoint: Iran, Israel, and the fragile future of global stability. In the early hours of a tense spring night, sirens blared across Israeli cities. Hundreds of drones and ballistic missiles, launched from Iranian soil, pierced the skies. It was the first direct strike from Iran on Israeli territory in history. This wasn't a proxy attack. This wasn't covert. This was a declaration. You might want to sit down for this. For decades, Iran and Israel have fought in the shadows. Through cyber sabotage, proxy militias in Syria and Lebanon, espionage, and assassinations. But that Cold War is now boiling. And the United States? It's already inside the blast radius. The strike heard around the world. On April 13th, 2025, Iran launched over 300 projectiles toward Israel. Most were intercepted by Israel's Iron Dome and Arrow systems, with help from American, British, and French forces. But even if the physical damage was limited, the geopolitical shockwaves were massive. This marked a red line being crossed. Direct state-on-state warfare between Iran and Israel. A threshold long avoided, now shattered. And the world took notice. Middle East tensions reach a historic peak. The trigger? An Israeli airstrike on an Iranian consulate in Damascus, allegedly killing high-ranking IRGC officials. Iran called it an attack on sovereignty. Israel claimed it was neutralizing a growing threat. Either way, both sides crossed new boundaries, and now the entire region, and possibly the world, is recalibrating. The U.S. caught in the middle. The United States has always been Israel's security backbone. Advanced missile defense tech, intelligence sharing, diplomatic shields in the UN, and now boots, or at least ships, on the ground. After the strike, American destroyers intercepted Iranian drones. F-35s were mobilized in the region. CENTCOM command centers went into high alert. Pentagon briefing. We stand with our allies and will respond to any escalation that threatens regional stability. But here's the balancing act. Support Israel too visibly, and Washington risks sparking direct conflict with Tehran. Hesitate or urge too much restraint, and it risks losing influence and looking weak to allies. This is a pressure cooker, with a nuclear-armed ally and a nuclear-aspiring adversary staring each other down. Government contracts and the war economy. And behind the scenes, billions of dollars shift hands. Every time this conflict flares, America's vast defense industrial complex gears up. Government contracts surge. Emergency appropriations get signed. The gears of the war economy begin to spin fast. Lockheed Martin ramps up F-35 maintenance and missile production. Raytheon gets new orders for precision-guided munitions and Patriot systems. Palantir, Booz Allen, and other surveillance and data firms win new intelligence contracts. Hezbollah opens a northern front. The Houthis block shipping lanes. U.S. forces are targeted. Israel responds forcefully. And suddenly, oil prices spike, markets crash, refugee flows surge, and the possibility of a regional or even global war becomes real. Senate Armed Services Committee echo. We must maintain technological superiority and provide all necessary support to our allies in the region. Translation: more no-bid contracts. Less oversight, faster funding. And a public largely left in the dark. Conflict becomes profitable. The longer it lasts, the more deeply embedded the financial incentives become. This isn't a new pattern, it's the military-industrial blueprint. But this time, the stakes are global, and the technologies involved go far beyond tanks and rifles. From AI-assisted targeting to space-based reconnaissance, the battlefield is now digital, autonomous, and deeply profitable. A fractured world order. But this isn't just about missiles and money. The strike is a symptom of a much larger breakdown. Around the globe, pressure points are reaching their limits. Russia is still locked in a brutal war in Ukraine. China intensifies military pressure on Taiwan. North Korea tests long-range missiles into the sea. The U.S. homeland faces cyber intrusions almost daily. And international institutions, NATO, the UN, the IAEA, are strained, politicized, or outright ignored. The post-BUT global order was built on deterrence, alliances, and diplomacy. But that scaffolding is now cracking. What replaces it? That's still uncertain, but the vacuum is already pulling nations into confrontation. What comes next? From here, three paths remain. De-escalation through diplomacy. Qatar, Oman, and Turkey may mediate behind the scenes. Iran might declare mission accomplished. Israel may choose to absorb the blow without launching a full-scale retaliation. Cooler heads, if they still exist, could hold. Protracted asymmetric warfare. This is the most likely continued tit-for-tat attacks. Cyber warfare, covert assassinations, proxy engagements in Gaza, Lebanon, and Syria, war without the label of war. Total regional conflict. This is the worst-case scenario. Hezbollah opens a northern front, the Houthis block shipping lanes. U.S. forces are targeted. Israel responds forcefully, and suddenly oil prices spike, markets crash, refugee flows surge, and the possibility of a regional or even global war becomes real. And let's not ignore the elephant in the war room. Nuclear weapons. Israel possesses them. Iran is arguably on the threshold. If either side feels cornered by sanctions, sabotage, or direct attack, the possibility of catastrophic miscalculation is no longer theoretical. Why it matters to you? So why should someone in Phoenix, Paris, or Pittsburgh care? Because every drone strike affects your oil prices. Every missile defense contract reshapes your tax policy. Every escalation alters the global balance and raises the odds of war spreading. This is a high-stakes geopolitical drama, but it's also a supply chain issue, a budget issue, a privacy issue, and yes, a moral one. Because while diplomats talk, defense stocks rise. And while politicians posture, contractors profit. The cycle continues, unless it's interrupted. The Iran-Israel missile strike may fade from headlines, but the world it represents is only just emerging. One where alliances are conditional, where AI and war are joined at the hip, and where profit too often replaces peace as a foreign policy goal. Stay alert, stay aware. Because in this new world, a conflict is no longer declared, it's funded.